Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Video Games, back with another really cool arcade game, or pinball machine actually today. Which I guess would still be found in an arcade, so that would still be an arcade game, I guess, right? Today we have the awesome, the legendary, the 100 miles an hour, red hot, firepower. This is a really cool game, man. I really have a affinity for these ones from the late 70s and early 80s. In my opinion, these were some of just the coolest pinball machines ever. They're a little more simple than some of the ones that came after, you know, and generally it's considered, you know, the ones from the late 80s and up to about the mid 90s are considered the best ones. And I'm not really arguing with that, but I really like these ones from the 80s, man. They're just cool. The design was cool. They got that vintage thing going on. They're fun. And one thing about them is they're simple. They're easy to figure out what you're supposed to do. There's not a lot of rules to learn. Some people don't like that, but like I said, I have an affinity for it. I can respect it. So, this is Williams Firepower. This came out in 1980. So this thing is 35 years old. It says Firepower on the front. And like all of our pinball machines, a lot of pin guys really want these things perfect, and we rarely get them in that are perfect. And we don't really have the ability or even the desire to get them perfect, but we try to get them where they look good and they play good, and you know, we don't leave anything that's just that really needs attention on them. But as you can see, this one looks pretty good. It's definitely not perfect though. You could pick out flaws all over it. But this game came out in 1980 and was made by Williams. And this was, I believe, Steve Ritchie's second game that he designed at Williams. His first being Flash, which was like the biggest selling game of the modern era. I mean, I think he sold 20,000 20,000 Flash machines. So Firepower came out and they sold 17,000 Firepowers. And back when this came out, everything was still kind of new. They were coming up with new stuff all the time. So he invented a bunch of, well, him and his team and the guys at Williams, they all kind of came up with it together, but they came up with some really cool stuff over the years. And his machines, in my opinion, are absolutely the coolest pinball machines. They play really fast. He was well, I shouldn't say was, he still is a heck of a designer. He just designed the newest game for Stern, their Star Trek pinball machine, and it's pretty awesome by most people's accounts. So this says Firepower up here. It says multi-ball, because this was the first solid state game that had multi-ball. There were a couple games that were electromechanical games that actually had multi-ball, which is hard to believe that they could pull that off with no computer or anything, but they did. But this was the first one that was a solid state game that had it. This game also had speech, which, you know, man, these 80s Williams games, the speech in them was just awesome. So another thing about these 80s games, check out the back glass, how it has those mirror lines in there. It's a mirror, but it's also silk screened, so like the mirror ink is silk screened on it just like the other ink is. This back glass is a pretty common one to get messed up. I mean, it's got all kinds of spots where the paint flakes off, and the reason is if you look behind see those bright spots, those are where the bulbs are. And those bulbs just get hot. Man, originally they shipped with I always get this wrong, I think number 44s, which are the hotter version of the bulb. You can put a 47 in it, which makes it a little bit dimmer and it's not quite as hot. But that heat would make the paint flake off the back glass. And so a lot of these Firepowers, the back glass is pretty rough. This one was kind of rough. Whenever we got it, we repainted a bunch of it. You can literally paint the paint back on the back of it after you seal it and get it where it looks presentable at least. Basically, you want to get it where there's no light shining through. But if you're familiar with this back glass, you can probably pick out the places where we touched it up. And it's, like I said, it's definitely not perfect, but it's presentable and it's fun. So awesome back glass, multi-ball game, really cool playfield layout. His games have flow, so the ball, it makes sense where it goes. Like the shots aren't hard. Some of the shots are hard to hit, but the ball just flows off the flippers right to that shot, and it spins around this way and back down. He has interesting little things where sometimes the ball will drop all the way down the playfield, and then somehow it's lined up where it drops right into the in lane, right down the in lane guide, right onto the flipper, and you can shoot it again, which makes for a really fast game. I mean, just some of the shots in his games are really fun whenever you hit them. And then so on this one of the cool ones is this right flipper can make this shot all the way up the playfield through that spinner all the way around the edge, and then it lands in that saucer up there and locks in place for the multi-ball. So that's a really cool shot. If you look at it, it's like it's as long as possible. You know, it's from the flipper all the way across the playfield, all the way up to the corner to where, you know, look, he's within, what, half an inch of the corner of the game. He put it all the way out there, used every little bit of real estate, and then wraps it around and puts that saucer over there about as far as he can put it too, you know. So just really cool shots, and the sound effects are awesome, and plays really fast. And this game still has the original, we put all new bulbs in it, but it has the original incandescent bulbs in it, so it doesn't have LEDs or anything, because we just like the way it looks. That vintage look is really cool. A lot of people prefer the LEDs now since they've become so commonplace, but on these older ones we like to put the original ones in. So what I will do, I guess I should tell you a little bit about the game if you've never played it. That'd be hard for me to imagine, but if you've never played it, basically you have these targets in the middle of the playfield. You've got 3 there and 3 there, and see they're banked. And the inserts say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you get 3 of those, and those are really easy to hit. As you can see, the flippers are right in front of them. Bam, 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 right? So if you get them, if you get one of the banks, which it would be either these 3 or these 3, it lights this over here. Shield is on when lit. And there's a little coil hidden down here in the left out lane that pops out whenever the ball goes down. So if that shield is on, because you've got the 3 targets, whenever the ball drains down here, it hits this switch, the coil will save it, knock it back into play, and it'll come over here, boop, and usually hit one of these 3 targets. Okay, so if you get both of those banks, if you light up all 6 of them, it lights the lock. So this flashing green light over here, either that one will come on, and you can see there's a little saucer in there you can knock the ball into, or this one will come on, and there's a little saucer up there that you can knock the ball into. And I think sometimes it may light the one at the top too. There's a green arrow up there as well. So if that lights up and you get the lock, whenever you make that shot with the flashing green arrow, the ball will stay in there, and then it'll kick another ball out, and then you can play your second one. A lot of games anymore don't do the old-time ball lock like that, where the ball actually stays on the playfield and gets stuck. Well, it doesn't get stuck, but they hold it for the start of multi-ball. So basically, if you keep doing that, you can lock all 3 balls. So you lock one there, and you lock one there, and then you make that final shot, bam, up there to the top. And whenever you do, it holds it, and then it counts down with the speech, and then throws all 3 balls out on the playfield at the same time, which had been done on electromechanical games, but not with that, you know, full pizzazz or whatever. And this was a solid state game, so. And they made such a big deal of it, they put it on the back glass, multi-ball, with a trademark symbol next to it, nonetheless. So this is probably the first game that actually said multi-ball, right? So, awesome game, really fun. Basically, since it's a Steve Ritchie game, you just play it, man. That thing's fast. Shoot the freaking ball as much as you can. Hit as many targets as you can. There's other, you know, of course, ways to maximize your points. If you get these 3 targets over here, it says target score power, which is this right here. You'll see the flasher in a second. Those are flash lamps under there, very very revolutionary at the time. They hadn't done that much. And then you've got the rollovers up here at the top. See how it says F-I-R-E? So if you get all 4, that's the fire rollovers. So that makes this flash. There it went. So, fire, power. So, and another thing, this was the first game, one of Steve's inventions that he's heralded for, and rightfully so. He made lane change. Okay, so if you roll through this one up here and you light the F, you still have to light the I, the R, and the E. Well, instead of having to actually go down all 3 of those things, he made a thing where you just, if you hit every time you hit the right flipper, that button, which you do all the time because you're using the flippers, right? The light that's lit up moves. So if you see the ball popcorning around, it's going to go down the F lane again, but you've already lit that one. If you hit the right flipper, it moves the lit insert from F over to I, and then you hit it again, it moves it over to R. You hit it again, it moves it over to E. So if the ball's going through the same one every time, or you see it about to go through it, you can hit the flipper real quick and move the light out of the way so that it's dark and it rolls through. So that sounds real simple, and it is real simple, but nobody had done it before that. He came up with the idea, and they thought it was brilliant and put it right in this machine. And even made a big deal about it. They talk about it on the flyer and stuff. So this is a game originally, and again, you know, people that are big pinheads know all about this, but I figured I'd just say it because why not? It's a great story. These stand-up targets here originally were drop targets, but one of the things, if you've worked on a lot of pinball machines, then you probably know Williams drop targets weren't really that great. They got stuck, and sometimes they would drop and it wouldn't recognize it, and all of the companies had different patents for things like that. So Williams couldn't make their drop targets exactly like Gottlieb because they'd get their pantsuit off, right? So they made their own design, and it worked, you know, but it just wasn't really reliable. So if you put it out on location, it might screw up. Well, this is a Steve Ritchie game. We can't have a Steve Ritchie game screwing up, and also it's so fast-paced. I mean, you'll see here in a minute how many times you hit those targets just over and over and over and over again. If those drop targets aren't really sharp and real crisp and working great, that's not going to work. So they made the decision late in the production of the game to go ahead and make those just stand-up targets instead of drop targets. So it'd be much more reliable. So now every time you hit them, they work. The drop targets, while they would have been really fun, and you can actually put them back on the game if you want. The drop targets just weren't reliable enough for them to put it out into production at the time. So, but we got it the way it is now. And this thing, you know, we fixed it up. There's a lot of work you have to do to the game boards and stuff to get it reliable, but we've got this one playing pretty good. And I'll set up the tripod and we'll play through it a little bit. All right, check out that light show. What a cool game. All right, we're going to take it back to 1980. I turned the sound up a little bit so you can hear all of the cool, the game kind of taunts you a little bit whenever the ball's over. Fire, power. Oh! I lost the bounce. Slid it right by me. Oh man! And I missed the shot. So he's kind of making fun of me. So I was trying to make that shot, which would have finished that bank, which would have turned on the shield, which would have saved my ball that time, but I missed the shot. We'll try it again. That game didn't even count. I might just even delete this off the tape. I don't know. Oh. All right, so see, it lit the shield, that what I was just talking about. So now I'm gonna try to get all 6 stand-ups so I can start locking the multi-ball. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, come on. That noise you heard, the whoa, 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 was because I matched. So at the end of the game, on a lot of these games, you would have a match opportunity. So it would tell you the match number, and if it matched the last 2 numbers of your score, which, you know, was kind of random depending on what you played or how you played, you would win a free game. So if I was in the arcade, you know, I just made a quarter, making money. Ah. Very nice. That was a cool shot. That was a cool shot there, too. Oh. You see, I had the 2-time and the 3-time multiplier because I got the fire twice at the top. Oh, I'm trying to get that that number 5 target. Oh, man! I think he's saying enemy power 1. He's saying, you know, I don't have anything for him. We'll try it again. Oh, missed it. There we go. No. Right down the middle. Man, okay, I've got it now. He's saying the enemy power 1, so he's saying that they're the enemy. on now. There we go. If I can get it to bounce up above the top, it might make, there we go. Okay, so I locked the one on the left. Oh, man. That's only ball one, though, so I'm doing decent. I play with the ball a lot sometimes and it screws me up. So close. So watch. Alright, we're gonna try it one more time. Oh, it slid it right by me. But I've got 2 locks lit, so that's good. Ah! Destroyed me. All right, there we go, folks. That is Williams Firepower. And I'm just making these videos so that you can see some of the cool games we get in. I am not a great player. If you look on YouTube, I'm sure you can find other people that are really good at playing this game. And this is a very popular game, so there's actually a lot of these out there. But we got this one in, so we figured we'd shoot a little bit of video of it just to show everybody some of the cool stuff we get. Subscribe to our channel. We're going to be uploading all kinds of videos of all kinds of other games that we've got, and we've got some other pinball machines that are already up on YouTube. You can check them out if you haven't seen the videos of those. And of course, we do tons of arcade games. This is what we usually get. We only get about 1 pinball a month usually, just because they take a lot of work to get working again. You know, playing as good as this one, and this one's not even perfect. You know, I'm sure you could find flaws in it if you wanted to. But check out our website, lionsarcade.com. You can see pictures of all of our games that we have for sale right now. By the time you see this video, this game will probably already be sold. But maybe we'll have something else on our website that you're interested in, another pinball game or another arcade machine that you want for your home collection. Or if not, you can just check out all the pictures of what we've got in right now. You can also stop by our shop if you're in the area. We're in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is about 15 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. We kind of split the, you know, we're right near the border here. And just stop in, you can see what we've got in right now. We always keep about 60 60 games in. Right now the shop's full of all kinds of stuff working. We got a bunch of stuff that we're working on right now too. But stop by and say you saw us on YouTube. See you next video.